Hey, we're back with episode number 112 of Future Chat. We have officially left Google Plus behind. This is the first time that we have not had the option to do a Hangout on Air via Google Plus. This is straight through YouTube, like I did last week as a demo because it was still alive. But I don't know. How do you guys feel? We've lost the plus from our Google Plus.
I noticed no
difference.
No
But-
difference?
How will people
Yeah,
find this
it's the same.
stream without Google Plus now?
I
I'm
know.
worried. I'm concerned for our audience.
I'm very concerned. I'm gonna see if Twitter works, but
I'm concerned for
And it happened
humanity in
fast.
general.
yeah. Yeah, humanity's doomed. I don't think we're going to go quite as long as last week. Last week was an anomaly after we didn't talk for a month. But Nick, why don't you start us off? You're on a different computer than you were every other week. What's going on with Ubuntu?
Bad things. So for the last month or so, I've had to boot using like 2 kernel updates ago.
Okay.
And the reason is that it wasn't compatible with UEFI boot up. And so I thought, oh, I'll see if I can disable that. And things have gotten so much worse. I think I'm just going to have to run like a system repair on my machine.
Have you ever done that with Linux? It seems like it might just...
No,
kill
I'm
it.
going to have to because my computer has a SSD on it with part of that having all the restore data,
Okay.
which I'm glad I never wiped at this point.
Mhm.
So hopefully that repairs the BIOS.
Right.
I'm not even sure if that would happen.
Yeah, it does. It seems like I would advise you to have a backup. Obviously, I feel like you would have any important files already backed up, but
Yeah, I did that.
yeah. Is this something that's happening? Like you're on another computer. Does that mean before you get use of your computer back, you are going to have to do that?
The other one isn't actually booting.
Yeah. Okay.
I used a live USB to repair the Ubuntu partition,
Mhm.
and it's just I can't even get to it now.
Oh wow.
I'm wondering if I could repair grub, but I'm not 100% sure on how to do that, so I might try that first.
Right.
Yeah.
In my experience, fresh installs are the best way to go when it comes to trying to fix those errors.
Yeah.
And then I wipe out
Guys,
all the
it's flashing.
wasted space.
It's flashing, guys.
So what does that
Whoa.
mean?
That means there's a Pokemon
to catch.
nearby. God, Rob, are you
Oh.
new?
It ran
I know
away.
there are different colors.
Yeah.
I don't know what they mean yet. I'm
Well, I
probably-
assume he didn't come across a Pokestop while he's sitting here talking to us. So it's probably a Pokemon, Rob.
Probably. That could have been a Blastoise or something.
We'll never know.
Not ever. Which reminds me, I need to turn my phone on so I can get some GPS wobble going. So that Sprouts McGee and I can find some candy.
So, Mike, we agreed to save the full Pokemon discussion, especially your thoughts about the new Pokemon Go that you're wearing, for the end of the show. Do you want to tell us did this just happen, breaking from Tesla, or is this a couple days old and you just put it in here? Because I saw this morning for the first time.
Which?
The Tesla follow-up,
Oh yeah, I put that in this morning.
but it's not new, not like brand new.
Is it not? I know there's talk about them
That's what I'm asking you.
in storage.
Yeah.
Did this contract deal appear to be new?
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, like they had obviously that was their end goal, was to supply grid scale electricity to cities. But yeah, I guess they just won a bid for Southern Californian grid support for backup power. So not as a primary power distribution, but as backup source. So
Okay.
I guess there's a current gas leak that's going on right now. So yeah, when they don't have enough gas to run their power stations, then they'll go to the backup power that's in the batteries.
Huh.
So yeah, and I know we had a story a while back. I think it was a Pennsylvania company that was putting in some grid battery power in an Ontario municipality. So
Okay.
I guess this article is fairly speculative on the future of battery storage, and just very optimistic that at some point the battery storage and solar plus battery system to supply electricity is going to outpace the current method of gas and kind of real-time distribution of electricity versus using store energy and distribute through battery storage. So I'm glad to see an alternative to the current coal and gas fired power plants as an option.
Right.
And like nuclear is already here, so we should probably start trying to implement that a bit more. But there's obviously environmental factors, real or not, that kind of are hurdles for nuclear.
Would you
Right.
advise that Alberta should get off its tuchus and build a nuke?
I think anyone who doesn't have a nuke should have one, based on my understanding from what you've educated me about.
Based on my understanding of an extremely biased source.
Nick's in the pocket of big nuclear.
Well, I was.
He really
for a
is,
while,
yeah.
I
was
know.
gonna say.
This this Tesla thing doesn't seem huge,
No.
but I'm kind of surprised that I had not heard anything about this biggest natural gas leak in US history that they're covering for. That seems crazy.
I actually, reading it again, I think the natural gas leak was on the East Coast.
Okay.
It was running from Houston all the way up to like New York, and there were
Wait.
stops along the way. Oh no, that was gasoline, not natural gas. Oh no,
So-
the natural gas leak was that wellhead that I think it was a wellhead or facility that was leaking methane.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was that gasoline pipeline leak, and then there's a natural gas leak in California that was just spewing methane into the air. So, and yeah, I guess that must have affected the
Right.
power generation ability.
Because this is just, I'm reading here, enough to power 2,500 homes per day.
Yeah.
Or for a day. I don't know how exactly that would work if you're powering something for a long period of time with a battery. How is it just kind of like using solar or wind or whatever alternative power and storing up any excess? Because it seems like if you have enough battery power to power 2,500 homes for a day, after a day, if it's powering anywhere near 2,500 homes, it's going to be out.
Not that much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
well,
not that much.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's like short-term backup.
Right. It seems like it
Yeah.
is short term. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, which in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't seem like a huge deal. Like you said, it's like, well,
It's a small deal, but
it's
big deal for a small deal.
yeah, like 2,500 homes is like not even a full community. I don't even.
Right. Yeah.
And for one day, it's like, yeah, I guess if you have maintenance or something, then.
Right.
But
Yeah,
for a lot of businesses, like a full day without power is kind of bad.
Yeah. I would say almost all businesses.
Well, I'm thinking more like food products, like
Yeah.
where they have frozen stuff
Yeah.
and that, or stuff. Even hospitals obviously have their own backup power, but yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of different things rely on consistent power.
Have you ever heard of an office that runs on computers? Do people use computers?
I'm trying to put
So
severity to perspective here, Nick.
yeah.
So, but yes, that's true too.
Well, no, that's also funny when you look at a lot of renewable energy things. They'll tell you how many households run off that power. And then if you actually convert to conventional sources of power and see how many households it powers, it's a lot more.
Really?
Which, the conventional or the renewable?
Conventional.
Yeah.
Like the nuclear station in Darlington powers more than 2,500 households.
Okay. And how many
Breaking news.
how many would it power under their, like, the conservative estimate?
Like
Like, is it a 10 times increase? Is it like
half
twice
of
as many?
Ontario.
Half of Ontario?
Almost always.
Okay.
Like half of their energy comes from nuclear.
Okay.
So to be Darlington plus Bruce plus Pickering? Is Darlington in Pickering?
You're the only
I don't
one that
know.
would know.
Well, no, I am the only one that
I
would
don't-
know.
Yeah,
I'm just taking your word that these are real places, by the way.
they sound made up.
I will say the Bruce Peninsula is absolutely gorgeous. You should definitely go. There's a national park. It's very pretty. You can take the Chichimon to Manitoulin Island, and that
I've been
sounds
there.
fabricated.
I've been to Manitoulin Island. I know that's real.
You probably took the Bruce then. Or you
The
took
Bruce?
Bruce Peninsula to get there, unless you were getting there from the north.
No, it was from the south.
Yeah,
Huh.
you probably went through the Bruce Peninsula.
Must have. It was a long time ago. I was a child. I didn't appreciate the natural beauty as we drove past. I was like, this is a
Just
long
like-
drive.
Well, I mean, in fairness, if you're used to like Yukon or something like that, and you're driving through anywhere in Ontario, you're going to be like, wow, this is a buttload of trees. And there's lakes. There's the Arrogant Worms have a song that goes something like, we've got rocks and trees and trees and rocks and rocks and trees and trees and rocks and rocks and trees and trees and rocks and water.
I missed
And
the
that's
Arrogant
Ontario
Worms.
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That sums it up.
So, Nick, I want to hear. The last episode was very tech heavy.
It sure was.
Yeah. So for this week, I want to start off switching gears and hear your story about beer.
Oh my god. Now this is almost East meets West worthy.
Mhm.
Loyal listeners will know why I said that so slowly. But there's actually a science of beer story here.
Okay.
And I will encourage you to pull up the story. I'll try and catch this Rattata. So, gentlemen, we know that the head-on beer indicates that you've aerated it well and you've gotten extra flavors out of it. But did you know that the head on your beer serves a very useful purpose?
And what's that?
Well, one, it's speculated that it keeps crap from falling into your beer because there's a layer of head on top.
Non-dense crap, yes.
Well, yeah,
Mhm.
it's like not literal crap,
feathers.
but like yeah, you know, when you're out at the beach drinking a beer, seagulls around, you want to make sure those feathers stay out. Yeah.
Exactly. When you're drinking on the beach with a beer glass.
But further, coffee drinkers will be familiar with this. Mike, how many times have you spilled coffee from a mug of coffee?
Too many times.
Right? Yeah, like, especially in university. When I was new to drinking coffee, I got a lot of burns on my hand.
Or like Tim Hortons cups.
Yeah,
It's
it
like-
just sloshes right
Oh,
around,
man.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now,
Horrible.
did you know?
Gotta start drinking beer while driving instead.
This is going off
Yes,
the rails.
delicious non-alcoholic beer.
Uh,
I'm going to interrupt this.
Oh.
Oh, what am I getting? What's hatching?
Uh-oh.
Oh, a Mankey!
Not bad.
Awesome. I haven't
Not
touched
bad.
one yet.
Nice.
Interesting.
I'm 20 out of 50 candies required for a primate. Sweet.
Did I tell you guys I caught one in Banff?
Oh, wait.
A Mankey?
A primeape.
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
I feel they sound rare from what you're describing them.
Here they are.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Apparently in like Saskatoon, it's all the fire, rock, and fighting types. Also ground.
Interesting.
I also might be misremembering what Kaya told me about it.
Can-
Anyway,
Can I just interject here and ask if we can all agree that that beer in that picture is very poorly poured?
well, that might be one of the first pints being drawn from a keg because apparently that happens a lot.
Maybe. We'll give them the
Like-
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
that's
usually
what I say, 'cause
waste.
that thing is half head right there. That is a good 4 inches of head on that thing.
Yeah.
Let's all
So
stop
what's the
giggling
science
at the
behind
phrase
this?
4 inches of head. So they actually looked into the physics of head and having bubbles on top of a beverage. And I I'm not convinced that this is the best description because I think it's really tailored to the layman reader.
Mhm.
But the long and short is they tilted beverages and took high speed images of tilting the beverages. And then they recorded how far the liquid levels moved along the glass. And go ahead and look at those pictures now.
Okay. Listener, do the same.
Please do, yes. Link will be in the show notes.
Right. Huh.
It's a huge difference, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So they're saying it's something to do with the capillary action of the edges of the bubbles, or that's their hypothesis, that the edges of the bubbles, it ends up adding up and keeping that liquid level from sloshing quite as much. And then you also have a foam which dampens things, which is how insulation works.
Right. I'm disappointed here that they didn't use actual beer.
Yeah. I mean, I like the header in the story. How was this measured? Did a bunch of physicists at a bar slosh their glasses back and forth? Because best study ever.
Yeah, that sounds great. But this was done
Yeah.
with foam.
I've actually noticed too, like espresso has a head on it. And
Right.
I don't tend to spill it when it has the head there. And I hadn't really thought of that before.
I do think maybe it's just kind of bias on my part mentally that I always think of fancier beers as having more foam, but like to the right amount. But I think of cheaper beers like something like Canadian or Budweiser, you getting it and then it not having any head at all, and that beer also spilling, but it might just be because people are more careful with beers that have been
Maybe. There's
poured better.
Also,
There's
like,
a commercial for Budweiser right now where they have the new game glasses or whatever, and the guy's just actually dumping a bottle into the middle of it. And I'm like, how are you not going to spill everything everywhere like that?
Yeah.
is it also that just cheap beer is a specific type of beer that wouldn't be conducive to holding,
It's always possible.
like
They
generating?
might have engineered it not to get ahead.
Mhm.
So they
I
can
don't
be
know
poured
why you do
quickly
that.
at bars, maybe.
Rob, do you remember going to the bar with my sister and we ordered a pitcher of Keith's and I put a head on all the glasses and then she took a taste and went, "Oh God, what did you do to it? Why does it taste like this?" We all kind of looked at her and it's like, this is how it's supposed to taste?
It's like that's that's the actual flavor of the beer.
Yeah.
This is something that I am now going to test next time I have a beer. I'm going to make sure that there's
Should
I do it
we
right at the
pause
start.
right now and all of us go grab beers?
I'm not going to do that.
I
but
will
only
pour
because there's-
one with a nice head and one with none, and then like kind of do a dance at
Yeah.
the table, I guess.
We'll all try it and report back next week.
Ugh.
I don't have any beer near me. That's my
Do you have
biggest
beer in
problem.
the house?
No.
Oh God, Rob, are you okay?
You don't have beer in the house?
No, I'm fine.
What's
I have
wrong,
some hard
Rob?
liquor in the house.
Is that better or worse?
I don't know. I haven't had any of that in a while either, but that's beyond the point. Anything else
I
to
went
say?
out after work because we had a big work event this week.
Yeah.
I ate something at 1:30, had a cookie around 5, and then after work I went and grabbed 2 pints with a coworker. And they were like, "Oh, you want to stay for another?" And I was like, "No, I really need to eat something."
They serve food,
Expensive food.
I guess.
And McDonald's was right across the street with delicious McDoubles. And if you checked Snapchat, a big sign that says intoxicated people aren't allowed into McDonald's after dark. I was like, do you know your audience? Do you know your market at all?
Yeah, they obviously I'm pretty sure the one downtown in Ottawa has a sign that says the exact opposite. It's like only drunk people in here after 8 p.m. on Saturday.
Why else would you be in there?
Yeah. So we'll all do that experiment with beer foam and we'll report back. Mike, for the meantime, do you want to let us know the latest shot in the Netflix data cap net neutrality fight?
Yeah, I feel like we've heard something similar to this before, but I guess the latest stance from Netflix is that data caps from the ISPs, so not mobile or cellular data, but the conventional cable or fiber data, that having data caps is unreasonable and goes against net neutrality, I guess. Similar to how Canadian providers are arguing that, or Canadian content creators are arguing that the services that are offered by the ISPs directly, such as like Show Me or Crave, those often have less or no data costs or zero rating against their data caps, whereas services like Netflix do have them. So on one part of it is that Netflix is saying that data caps in general limit the amount to which customers are able to watch the amount of TV or just consume internet, but specifically related to TV consumption.
Yeah.
To beyond the point to which they're satisfied with. So basically they'd watch more if they had higher data caps. And the other hand is the content that is put out by the ISPs or even just partnerships, not even just the ones that are from the ISPs directly, but just some have partnerships with other content providers or content creators, are zero rated. So again, it offers an unfair advantage because there's the data caps which prevent customers from watching so much Netflix, and then once they hit their cap, then they might just stick to the zero rated services. So this has been addressed to the FCC, so the US communications division, obviously not to the Canadian one at this point. But and so it's gonna go under review, I guess, similar to how they're investigating or analyzing other types of services and deals that these companies are putting out, such as T-Mobile's can't remember what it's called now, unlimited everything or whatever, all you can watch or whatever plan they have, where unlimited video up to whatever quality level that they have, and they're investigating kind of how fair that might be as it relates to other providers. So this is kind of more follow-up. There isn't a whole lot to say on it right now, but I don't know. The ISP's response to Netflix's claims is that they haven't found that customers are needing more data room.
So we find that our customers don't use more than their caps. It's the craziest thing. I wonder why that might be.
I feel like it's more satisfaction-wise, not actual use. And I imagine that the majority, as in 50% plus one people, are actually okay with their data caps. But that doesn't mean that's okay, because it shouldn't be, as long as the majority of people are fine, then all is okay.
Right. Because
then why would you have laws like same-sex marriage?
Yeah.
Right. To take the analogy way too far, but
no,
it's the same idea though, right? Yeah. Like it shouldn't always just be, but as long as the majority is happy, then you're fine.
Right.
Yeah, it's also easy to satisfy a majority.
Yeah, exactly.
Know what's wrong.
Yeah.
if my water always smelled of fish and I had always drank it that way, and you asked me if I was satisfied, I'd say, yeah, it's fine. Give me water that didn't taste like fish, I'd probably be like, wow, this is so much better than all the water I've ever had before. But, without knowing about that.
Yeah. I went through it. Turns out we have now been with Bell for internet for 6 months. And as soon as we got this unlimited internet plan, I immediately turned on a backup service that automatically backs everything up to the cloud.
Was it Backblaze?
It was Backblaze. And so the very first month we had this, I used 2.3 terabytes of data. And
wow,
in the months since, it's averaged between 300 and 400 gigs. And I'm satisfied with that. That's like some Netflix, a decent amount of YouTube, and not really uploading that much other than backing up pictures and stuff and video, like personal video. So I don't think, because before our Rogers plan, we had a cap of 550 gigs, and we came close to that, but we never went over. And having unlimited, yes, some people are going to use a lot. That's the whole point, but you don't need to, I don't know, companies can still make money.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of internet revolutions, TechSavvy has a brand new customer.
Is that you?
No, we've been with TechSavvy for a while. No, it was a friend of ours has moved to a new condo, and TELUS could not figure out how to set up her internet. And Shaw could not figure out how to set up her internet. But TechSavvy, who just uses Shaw Techs and repackages Shaw Internet, managed to get it done for her. So
that's weird.
TechSavvy has a brand new customer. The revolution continues.
That's bizarre.
Right? She was super happy with TechSavvy. I don't understand what is wrong with Shaw, but I think they're still in the it's okay. TELUS will also dissatisfy people, and we'll all be happier for it.
Yeah.
Because our customers will not know what proper service is.
Right. Yeah, Nick, you posted a link here that I had read about a while back where I think it's a cable or internet CEO saying that usage caps are basically stupid and just not taking advantage of people, basically. Is that
well, yeah, they're this is what happens when you have no competition. Right. He adjusts his monocle and his top hat, and he's actually no, it's because he's got a cigar in his teeth.
Sure.
And checks his pocket watch for the time.
Right. The idea that if you take data caps away, that we're going to use an order to of magnitude more internet than we do, it just seems bizarre. It doesn't really make any sense. The only way that could happen is if people decided to start new businesses, like internet businesses that require a lot of bandwidth, and that would only be seen as a good thing. That would create industry where there isn't any now. Or create competition where there isn't any now. The whole argument just is so bizarre.
Yeah.
No, sorry, go ahead.
For me, our internet was always at 250 gigabyte data cap.
Mm.
And in the summer months, we'd usually be okay. But the winter, we'd kind of bump up against that and go over into the next tier a little bit. But the way that TELUS has it set up, I was going to say had, but I think they still have it set up as you have your data cap, and then if you go above that, you get a 50 gigabyte data bucket for another $10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the odd month that we'd go over, we don't have to pay an extra $10, which is kind of okay. It's not ludicrous where it's $10 for 100 megabytes.
Yeah. It's a ton of money for what you're getting, but it's not crazy. It's just a little bit more.
It's not, and it was never enough for me to say, I need to go up to the next tier on a monthly basis, because the next tier up was 500 gigabytes and but it costs an extra $15 a month.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like even if I went over every single month by 50 gigs, I'd still be better off not going up into the next tier, because the next year had higher speeds, but I didn't find that I needed higher speeds. So the only benefit would be the data cap, and that data cap value wasn't worth the $15 a month. So now
Right.
we're on a deal for I think 6 months where we are getting the 50 megabit per second tier and 500 gigabyte data cap. I haven't looked at the usage lately, but I'm imagining it's probably fairly similar.
Yeah,
So,
you're not going over.
no, we're not going over that, and we're probably not even getting over that 300 that we'd necessarily, or sometimes go over on the odd month. So
Right.
I also
Um,
like that Tech Savvy, in stark contrast, will give you 300, and then if you want unlimited, they will charge you $5 whole.
Yeah. And not to mention the 300 is, they have like that kind of whitelist time where between 2 and 8 a.m.
Oh
everything's
yeah,
unlimited.
I think it's midnight to 8 or something like
Okay,
that.
Yeah.
It might be 2 to 8. Anyway, it's just you set Backblaze
right.
to
Yeah,
work
exactly.
at midnight and 8, and you're off to the races. You're golden.
Exactly.
Tech Savvy isn't fiber though, right? That one's just cable.
Yeah, I think it's cable, but it just piggybacks off Shaw. So
Yeah,
Right.
it wouldn't give you a fiber hookup directly in your house, but it'll use the system which uses fiber most of the way. Like I think they call it fiber to the home or fiber to the node or whatever it is. Most of the network is still fiber.
Right.
It's just your actual connection isn't.
I just
At the very
remember
end.
I just remember looking at their speeds, and their upload was not very good. Like at
That's
all.
not
it's not.
that's not a fiber versus cable difference. That's just the plans they were able to negotiate with whatever the provider is.
Oh, is it?
It's not limited like the
Oh, okay.
cable internet isn't limited to those speeds.
Oh, okay.
I think
Gotcha.
there was for a while there, DSL kind of was their DSL like dry loop internet service. It might have been speed limited, but it's still a lot higher than like the 3 or 5 or 10 even gigabytes that you can.
So they're being throttled by Shaw or whoever they're using in that area.
Exactly.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Or at least their plans, like their very highest plan is not the highest capacity that the network can give
Right.
them.
Because Shaw wants to prioritize their own
Right.
bandwidth. Yeah. Makes sense.
I want to I started a new phone plan, and I just want to tell people this is kind of a PSA. I posted this on Facebook a while back, a couple weeks ago before the plan had kicked in. But if you are interested in living the data only lifestyle and don't really care or have alternate means of texting and phone calling people, Fido's got a really good, I'll put a link to it again in the show notes, but Fido has a really good $15 a month plan for 3 gigabytes of data on your phone or tablet or whatever. And it's $10 a gig over 3 gigabytes. But I've put this on now I have a second SIM card for either my iPad or the Android phone I have laying around. And it has been amazing having that kind of freedom to not have to. Before I was using 150 megabytes and it was costing me $10 a month just to basically be on the network. But this $15 a month is $5 more, and I'm actually going to use it because I'm not worried about going over a 3 gigabyte plan as much as I am a 150 megabyte plan. Right. But I highly recommend that plan. And if you aren't needing hardwired phone service, and you can make phone calls if it's an emergency or something, it'll be pay per use at like 35 cents or whatever a minute. Highly recommended though. So we are coming up on an hour pretty quickly. Is there anything here that is super pertinent to either of you, or can I talk about the new ceramic potential of cell phones?
Could I quickly go over my last, like the gist of my last story?
I want to hear about that because it relates to what we talked about with Tesla a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the headline is "Solar Industry Braces as Looming Glut Threatens to Erode Prices." It's pretty self-explanatory. Like, apparently this has happened once before. It's just demand being cyclical. So Chinese demand for solar panels is lessening at the moment for whatever political economic reasons. I can't quite remember. I think it's political. Is they've just decided they're not going to do quite as much solar right now. So given that the Chinese are trying to electrify their country, and that's a couple billion people, that's a lot less demand all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's been ramping up production to cater to the Chinese demand, and now the demand is dropping, so the prices are gonna have to drop significantly. So the main thrust of this, I think you're gonna see a lot of articles saying, wow, look at how cheap solar power has become. It's amazing. We can power the whole world with solar now. And you kind of have to be careful because that's not a sustainable price drop. That's just, cyclical demand.
But in theory, if you wanted to get in, would now be a good time to do it?
Or in the near future?
Get solar panels?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember reading some other analysis, and we've talked about it on the show before on solar cost benefit. And the biggest hurdle was the upfront cost. Wasn't ideal right now, but yeah, based on this, it sounds like it should be coming down sooner than later.
And temporarily. That was the biggest.
Yeah, so I'd almost, if it were me, I'd probably wait till the next bust. So if it booms again once it comes into vogue again and then it busts again a little bit, then maybe that might be the time to do it. Because I think the power companies their plans aren't super favorable still for solar or going off the grid, so to speak.
Well, here they're not.
No, yeah, that's right. Yeah, speaking from a Canadian bias.
Albertan
bias even, yeah.
Ontario, it's a great idea.
Huh. Okay. So this is the kind of thing where it's, like you said, it's always in a cycle. And is there any indication of how long the cycle is going to last?
I don't remember that off the top of my head.
Okay.
I imagine with policy changes, you'll see this cycle upswing again when there's more incentive for companies and residences to put in solar.
Okay.
That's often what drives cycles, is that type of policy change.
Right. Huh. Okay. Cool.
Apparently this has happened before and they're actually better prepared for it because they just realize that it's coming.
Right.
So that's fun.
So yeah, if I would say if you're interested in learning more about this article goes pretty in depth and has a lot of details that I don't understand. But if you're interested in solar power, you probably do better than me. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it actually is fairly in depth for a mainstream news article. It's not even a tech article or a tech
I came
site,
across that reading an actual physical paper one day, and I was really impressed.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Globe and Mail.
Well, it's actually a Bloomberg article, but
shout out to the Globe and Mail for printing a quality Bloomberg article.
Yeah. It's okay. So yeah, we have 15 minutes left. Do you guys want to talk about Pokemon? Or do you want to talk about the other? I'm fine pushing other stories to next week.
Of course I want to talk about Pokemon.
I wanted to talk about the iPhone.
Okay, we'll
instead of ad block, you want to talk about the iPhone, Mike?
Yeah, my ad block's only number 2.
Classic Mike.
Nick, you're gonna like this story, but we'll save it for the beginning of next week because it was already from last week. I promise you're gonna like it.
Am I gonna like it?
Yeah, you are.
What is it? Where is it?
It's at the very
the
top.
iPhone 8 will be made of?
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about that and then do an after show?
This is even science related, Nick. Chemistry, even.
So why are we saving this then, if it's already a week old?
Because, well, it's not a week old. The story was written a week ago. I had it in there right after the last show, but it's an evergreen story. I think it'd be useful to actually dedicate time to it. And I think we should aim for an hour, and we're already.
Time for
If
a
we talk
cell
about
phone
Pokemon,
story.
yeah, I gotta do groceries. I got life, man.
So is this Pokemon session just gonna be us berating you for being an idiot?
No. I
Oh
don't
my
think
god,
so.
we should do that.
But-
We should do that for a full hour.
So okay, we have approximately 10 minutes. I'm gonna say thank you for listening to this week's episode of Future Chat. We'll be back next week with more science and tech talk. See you next time.
Ciao.
Toodaloo. So Rob,
I don't think I
like
did anything
every
wrong.
tech-related thing I have ever seen you interact with, you just go deep by default. You just like dive right in there.
Mhm.
Like the first time you experimented with Ubuntu,
Yeah.
it wasn't even just like, yeah, I'm just going to dabble in this for a while. It was like, yeah, full install.
Yeah.
Just going.
Well, I put on a partition, but yeah.
Anyway, you just like went right in there, like fully embraced it. Like you were on board.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
and it's not only that,
just
but just
rooted the iPhone as soon as you had an iPhone and were capable of rooting the thing.
You're right.
in general, though, you're also quite rational and level-headed, and will at least consider other points of views.
Yeah.
But
But just-
Pokemon Go came out,
Yeah.
and you became a layman.
Okay, so can I explain my
No, I'm not finished berating you yet.
No, hold on. One moment. I have something that is consistent. My consistent mindset throughout all three of the events just described is that I really like going in depth and reading and learning everything I can about. So like Ubuntu, very well documented online. All the things about like from the makers, from the writers of the source code of Ubuntu. Here's the answer to your question. From
Okay.
what was the second example?
iPhone.
Rooting iPhone. The jailbreak community, so vocal and about explaining every little detail. Pokemon, I open the app, and if they wanted IVs to be important, they would have put stamina, attack, defense. They would have put that in the app, and it's not visible at
They
all.
have put that in the app.
They
It's in
haven't.
appraisals.
It's yeah, the appraisals is the closest they've gotten to acknowledging that the community
I
wants
was
it.
going to say, like, Mike is right. Mike was right in the Slack earlier. There are very, very well-defined meanings for everything that they say in the appraisal.
Right, but these are things that Niantic has deliberately obscured, and that
They've
people have had to
obscured
reverse engineer.
everything about the game, and you're still playing it.
Yeah.
Right.
This is
It's
probably
worth-
the least well-documented game ever, by the way.
It's
Yeah.
worth noting that Ingress, from what I've heard from people that play it, is also very mysterious.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's the kind of their modus operandi to be mysterious about stuff.
Right.
So that shouldn't be a barrier or a hurdle to getting into a game.
Right. No,
That's
it's
just part of
it's
the
not.
game.
And I feel like if you spend any time on the Sylph Road, the subreddit, or the actual like
Road.
Sylph Road thing that they're doing,
Mhm.
you would see that it's well documented.
Okay, so I have been on the Pokemon Go subreddit, which I know is like scratching the surface, not that they don't go deep very
Yeah,
often.
that is
It's also a lot
like
of
your habitat.
yeah.
That's the filthy
Yeah.
casuals.
Yeah.
I like
it's
that.
It's a low signal to noise. too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
So wait, high signals? No, low
Like in
signals to noise.
Pokemon Go, they're now starting to like there are active conversations about wouldn't it be nice if this were a feature?
exactly, I love
Whereas on the Sylph Road, it started to become that if you have, hey, wouldn't this be a nice feature? They will just downvote that to
Yeah.
oblivion right off the hop. They're like, this is not the subreddit for that. This is hard research we're doing here on the Sylph Road.
that. So I don't know how to best explain this. I want to play a fun game, and I want to catch the Pokemon, and I don't want to go in and rename all my Pokemon to like the stats they have because I went and researched them all. I just want to catch the strongest ones that I can find and fight them sometimes to get coins to collect more. Like I don't belittle anybody who wants to play deeper and deeper and deeper, but that's not the game that I'm
Right.
playing.
My issue is that when we talk about stuff like IV or battle strategies or whatever, your approach or your attitude is, well, that doesn't matter.
It's like, why are we talking
Right?
about this?
But
This
it's
is
like
useless.
it's one thing to say, oh yeah, that sounds cool, though that I can see how that works. I just choose not to do that. That's fine. But you're like objectively saying that that stuff doesn't matter or that it's stupid or whatever. It's like, well, what's that based on? That's
I
not
don't think
based
I
on
actually
anything.
said it's stupid.
Well, that's the attitude about it. Even the thing with the Pokemon Go Plus, it's like
Right.
it has a specific feature set.
Right.
It has its benefits. Those benefits aren't for everyone, but that
Yeah.
doesn't make it objectively bad. It's just
So,
bad for
yeah.
what you would get out of it.
Right. So I want to hear in the next couple weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
Your experience and how satisfied you are with the benefits that the Plus has on
Mhm.
your game. Because from what I'm hearing of people that have had it for a couple days now, they're pretty disappointed in what it can do and what it has done for them.
So for one, those people obviously didn't do their research because, again, what it can and can't do was very well documented, especially in the past couple days since people have had it
Right.
On the Sylph Road.
on the Sylph Road.
So what I mean is they're saying, oh, like I'm at a spot that I know a Pokestop is at, and it doesn't quite update, or like I missed the stop, or I
Right. And I haven't had enough experience with it to see that. Like once I go, like next week when I'm downtown, I'll get a lot of experience with how
Right.
it works and its reliability and whatnot.
Yeah.
Even like when I first got it, it had connectivity issues, and my app actually just updated this morning
Mhm.
in order to improve the device stability.
Yeah.
So, and that's the whole thing. Like even right now, its feature set is quite limited in that you can only throw one Pokeball. It's you either get it or you don't. If it breaks out, it flees. Whatever. Only one type of ball,
Which is stupid. Like,
but
I upgraded my storage in my bag, and I just don't have Pokeballs still.
like they've already changed the feature so that now you actually can try to catch Pokemon that you don't have in your Pokedex.
Right.
Before it was you can't even try to catch them. You can only
Right. It would alert you, but you can't catch them.
I don't think at no point did it even say they'd alert you. But like people were wondering if it would even alert you if
Okay.
you found one that you did that wasn't your Pokedex. Now it flashes a different color when it's one you don't have, and you can and at that point you can choose to catch it on your device, or you can just go to your phone and try to catch it from there.
Right.
And I'm trusting that at some point they'll implement features such as changing the type of ball that you use, doing more than one throw, all that kind of stuff.
But you don't think, how would they do that with one button?
It's like, because you can just toggle, you can just like press it twice quickly in a row to go to Great Ball, press it 3 times quickly to use Ultra, like, or hold it however long, and the light changes to show you're at a different type of ball. There's so many different.
You could change from red to blue to yellow.
Yeah, right? Like,
Clever.
already in order to unpair the device with your app, you hold down the button for 5 seconds and hold it down for 5 seconds again. So you can do those types of like action configurations to change what it does. So like,
Yeah.
I can only trust again that Niantic will implement these changes if and when the community asks for them. The same way they did with appraisals, the same way they did with the tracking, the same way they did with all this kind of stuff.
So you agree, though, that, like, for instance, with the appraisals,
Yeah.
they could have implemented the appraisal that you go into pick the Pokemon, hit the button, press appraise, and it would say, wow, your Pokemon looks great. Its attack is 12
of
out of 15.
course it could have. Right.
Its defense is 10 out of 15.
No, of
They
course
could
they
have
could
done
have.
that, and it would have been way more useful.
But that's
Right.
not in keeping with the tradition in the actual Pokemon games, because they don't tell you either. You have to calculate it.
The thing I wish they did do was make the Pokemon level explicit instead of that
Yeah.
stupid arc. It's like, why? That's just unnecessary.
Mhm.
Right? I don't understand why they didn't do that unless it was to make IV calculation way more difficult.
Was there a thing in the games that was similar to how, like, hatched Pokemon are only going to be maximum level 20?
I don't know. I didn't play
Okay.
games past the first ones.
I played the second generation, and
Okay.
it's short answer no.
Okay.
Like, you just get a baby Pokemon when it hatches.
Okay. Interesting. Like, but in that
You get,
case,
like,
you
level 5 Pokemon or something like that.
But when it's with the games, you could fight them or train them or whatever to make them better. Whereas with Pokemon Go, you can't do that.
Not yet.
Right.
Well-
But that is coming?
People have asked
No
for
idea.
it and to
Right.
speculate that it might come.
Okay. I'm very skeptical.
Although Buddy Pokemon is about as close as you get to that.
Yeah. And I
Being
think
able to grind up.
yeah.
That doesn't get
You
you
look
anything.
so pained.
I am
It
pained.
doesn't get you anything?
It doesn't. It doesn't get you anything on its own. You still need Stardust. Like you could walk 1,000 miles and you would not be able to do anything
Yeah.
with your Pokemon.
I think the buddy feature is a step in the right direction and shows that they're looking at having those types of features where
Right.
you can
Well,
where you can single out a Pokemon to make better.
Mhm.
Rob, I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to power my Bulbasaur.
That actually rhymes.
Rattata, 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 tata, 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 tata.
Yeah, even if they had you walk your Pokemon and every time you hit a kilometer or 3 kilometers or whatever, you would get a candy and it would like tick up the arc like 1%. You could it would at least train it up as you walked.
Right.
So you would need to also get Stardust to like, because this way, it's still not really beneficial to walk it in order to power it up. It's beneficial to walk it in order to eventually evolve it.
Right.
Are
And
you
that's-
having Stardust problems?
Yeah, it's extremely difficult to like. Now that all my Pokemon I want to power up need 4,000 Stardust to get to the next thing.
Yeah.
You hatch eggs.
See,
I am.
the thing is like with the buddy feature, it's a simple in air quotes, code change to make it so that it increases its level versus adding candy.
Right.
Because they already have the feature where you designate a Pokemon to track kilometers as you walk and
Yeah.
to have a little arc that fills up as you gain kilometers. Like
I like that.
that's 90% of that feature.
Right.
The other 10% is you get a candy or you gain experience or
Yeah.
get whatever. Like that's literally a code change,
Sure.
right? So there's no reason they can't implement that feature. And I hope they do.
Right. Well, because the whatever John Hankey or whatever his name is,
Yeah.
the Niantic CEO, I guess,
Yeah.
said that this is the minimum viable product. That
Yeah.
they have a bunch more stuff planned, but it's like he's thinking long game, years down the road.
And that's the funny thing is that people are already quitting the game because
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm done. Like, oh, this is stupid. It's like, guys, like see you in a couple months when it gets better.
right. Like don't
You
give
let them
up.
go because I don't need that gym competition.
Well, that's fine.
I don't.
Yeah. But it's like, yeah, people aren't thinking the long game here. It's, I don't know.
Right.
Are you telling me that there are people out there without long-term vision? Because I don't think that's true. That's never happened.
Oh man. All right. Do you guys have anything else to say on Pokemon?
Rob, I remember you literally saying that you posited there was no point in battling gyms when you already had your coins for the day. And you asked if you were missing something. And I said XP.
Mhm.
And Mike put a superscript indicator to say that he agreed with me.
Right.
And then days later, actual
Weeks.
days later.
No, it was a week later.
Was it weeks?
It was
Okay.
It was a week or two, yeah.
Say, guys, you get so much experience from battling at gyms.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we'll have a moment in like a year or two. As I know I previously stated. You'll go, man, I powered up this really old Mon that I had, and it's not doing well, but I hatched this other one, and I powered him up. And he's doing so much better in the gyms. And I'm just wondering when that's going to happen.
Yeah. I will continue to think the way I think, and I'm happy to be proven wrong.
Okay, well, I just want you to know we still love you, Rob. You just baffle us sometimes.
Okay. Well, I feel the same way in that I don't understand how you guys have the time to keep track of. I don't. Do you just do like top 12, or do you like check every single Pokemon to see what its IVs are and then like memorize it?
Well, it's when I hatch them particularly, I'll check to see what their IVs are.
Okay, because
Or
for
if I-
me, sorry, go ahead.
The other thing I'll do is if I hatch a particularly high level one, I'll check their IVs.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't really want to invest a lot of candy and Stardust in something that's not all that it could be.
Right.
Like if I want a good battler, I want it to at least be in that tier where it says, wow, it can really battle with the best of them.
Mhm.
Incidentally, I have now hatched 2 perfect Pokemon.
Oh,
Yeah. I think I told you about the first one. That was a Ponyta, which if it doesn't get a good move set, I'm going to be very unhappy. But I hatched a second. And are you ready for this, guys?
is it a Sparrow?
Prepare to be jealous. No.
Pikachu.
Imagine something better than
It's
a
a Pikachu.
Spearow.
Is it Rattata?
No, if it was Pikachu, I would have told you already. Like I would have just been over the moon. Rattata, I would argue even better than Rattata.
Even
Weedle.
better than Rattata. Wow.
We know.
Zubat.
Oh,
A
nice.
perfect 100 level Zubat.
See, Golbat's max CP actually isn't too bad.
It's
But
pretty
its
bad.
moveset is awful.
Yeah, that's true.
I also finally got a Pidgey with Wing Attack and Hurricane. None of
Oh,
my
really?
Pidgeys with good IVs, just a random one that I chose to evolve.
Yeah.
Ran out of Pidgeys.
Did I tell you
in
guys
Egg
I've
Fest.
Been trying to get my Hurricane Pidgeot?
It's-
I've gone through
it's
5 without
good.
getting it. Yeah.
I had it attack a grass Pokemon. It went really well, except its IVs are terrible, so I don't want to invest anything in it.
You guys are crazy.
But now my Exeggutor has Solar Beam, so I have something to invest
Man.
candy in if I had any Exeggutor candy.
Exeggutors are so strong in gyms. It's crazy. Like they're whatever the quick attack is, it just does so much damage. I need one.
Confusion or Zen Headbutt, I think.
Probably Zen
Yeah.
Headbutt. Yeah.
Crazy.
So I gotta level this one up, but I can't get candy for it unless if the execute nest stays the same at Central Memorial, I might get some. But it's gonna be a while until I've maxed out Sprouts McGee.
Yes.
Yep.
My Squirtle candy count is at 92. I've walked 15.7 kilometers with that Squirtle in the last day and a half.
Nice. I only have 88.
All right. You guys good for the week? Any more berating?
No, that's good for now.
Okay.
Rob, trim those sideburns.
I'm probably not going to. Actually, no, I will tonight. You can rest
That's
easy.
a Simpsons reference. Don't you worry, Rob. You look fine.
All right.
And I mean fine.
All right. I'm hitting stop.